When my father died, I had one last thing I could do for him: honor him with truth. So I did, but I also exposed the woman who made his life miserable, my own mother. Before I share the full story, I want to know you're here with me. Just comment below where you're watching from. And if you've ever felt the sting of betrayal, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to hear is painful, powerful, and yes, deeply satisfying. My father died on December 1st, 2022. And while his death hurt me, it also brought an unexpected moment of closure, because this isn't just about a man who died. This is about a man who was slowly destroyed over 15 years. Not just by illness, but by the one person who was supposed to care for him, his wife, my mother. Growing up, I always knew something was off. My mother wasn't nurturing. She wasn't kind. There was always a coldness in the way she looked at my dad. And as he got sick, really sick, that coldness turned into something darker. Some say when you're weak, people show their true colors. My mother's colors were ugly. When my dad's health started failing, he needed her the most. He couldn't move around like he used to. He was in constant pain. Simple things like eating, bathing, even walking became difficult. And what did she do? She turned her back. She wouldn't help him out of love, only obligation. And even then, it was laced with resentment. She claimed they were separated. She started talking to men online. Sometimes she said she was going to leave him and move away. Other times, she'd threatened to take everything he had. It broke him. He had worked his whole life to build a home, to provide for us. But she treated him like a burden, like something she was stuck with. There were moments I would come by and he'd be lying in the same spot he was hours before. No water, no food. And her, on the phone with some stranger, pretending to be single. She didn't just neglect him, she exploited him. She took control of his money. She emotionally isolated him, and whenever I tried to step in to fight, I was told, it's a civil matter. Nothing we can do. We tried everything, but the system failed him. Eventually, he gave me power of attorney and added me to all his accounts. Maybe that was his final way of saying, help me please, but he wouldn't leave that house. It was the house he worked for, built memories in. Even if it turned into a prison, it was still his, and he stayed. Until the end, the day after Thanksgiving, I brought him to my home on hospice. I gave him what little peace I could. I made sure he was warm, comfortable, surrounded by love, not indifference, and when he finally passed, I sat with him and cried. But in those tears, there was something else, a burning need to honor him. Truly, not just with flowers. Not with some fake eulogy from a woman who hadn't loved him in years. So I did the one thing I had control over. I wrote his obituary, and in it, I didn't mention her. Not one word. I didn't say he was married. I didn't mention a wife. There was no grieving widow in my version of his life, because there wasn't one in reality. She was furious. Phone calls, messages, rage. People started asking questions. Friends, family, even the funeral home. Why didn't you mention her? I answered honestly, because she wasn't a part of his life, not the one he lived in his final years. She screamed, saying I was making her look bad. I told her, if you didn't want your actions talked about, you shouldn't have done them. It was never about revenge for the sake of pain. It was about truth, the truth she spent years trying to cover, creating a public image of a loyal wife, a devoted caregiver, but she wasn't. And I exposed it, and do you know what happened after? People started to see. The questions kept coming, and I didn't hide. I spoke. I told them about the nights I found my dad crying, about how she refused to feed him, about how she mocked him for needing help. Her image cracked. The years she spent painting herself as a victim fell apart. I might be the villain in her story now, but I'm at peace. She got to keep the survivor benefits, which were legally hers anyway. That was the only reason she agreed to let me cremate him. But everything else? The dignity, the legacy, the truth, that belonged to him. And to me, and no matter how loud she screams, she can't rewrite the story anymore. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said, help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or is being oppressed. When asked how to help an oppressor, he replied, by preventing him from oppressing others. Maybe I couldn't stop her in time, but I stopped her from rewriting history. My father deserved better. And in the end, I gave him the truth. What do you think? Was I wrong to erase her from the obituary? Have you ever had to stand up for someone who couldn't defend themselves? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this story powerful, emotional, or even a little healing. Hit that like button and subscribe. We share stories here that don't just entertain, they reveal truths that need to be heard. Until next time, take care and always speak up for those who can't.